So in today's video, we're going to be reacting to this video about why Fortnite should be dead. So it's always like kind of a topic of conversation within the Fortnite community of like edgy little kids on Twitter or whatever saying it's a dead game because they're no longer interested in it. And I completely disagree. We'll get to that at the end of the video. But this video kind of talks about like controversies and things throughout Fortnite and reasons why it should be dead and how Epic avoided that. So that is what we're going to do on today's video. If you guys do find this video interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what you think of this topic, and the video will be linked to that in the description that we're going to be watching.
No one watches Fortnite anymore.
Fortnite is done.
And I think for the most part, like this intro sets up, a lot of people think Fortnite is quote unquote a dead game because it doesn't have as much cultural relevance or impact as it did in like early 2018, 2019 when it was blowing up. Oh, wait, we just did Aussie 30 there. But that level of relevance is impossible to maintain. You know, like when something is so relevant because it's the big hot new thing, it's even more popular because of that, and it's even more talked about because of that. But at this point in time, most people know what Fortnite is, and it's not as
between
like
2017
you know?
and 2019, everyone was talking about Fortnite.
Like you just said.
Fortnite.
I mean, the biggest movie in the world referenced it.
Thor, he's back.
But we've been playing it for 5 years now, so it's like not as big of a deal when there's a new item in Fortnite or a new collab in Fortnite. It's just kind of expected, you know?
That kid on the TV just called me a again.
Noob master.
But then something happened, and it seemed every content creator was claiming that Fortnite was dying.
Bro, Ali A made a video. Bro, that song is catchy, but it like tilts me, bro. Like whoever made that, like I'm sure just made it as a joke, but like in theory, you're making a video talking about how the game is dying because people are trying, and allegedly you're not trying, but if you care so much about other people trying in the game that you're making a song about it, like clearly you're a tryhard too, right?
How can a game with such a large fanatical player base and billions of dollars in revenue be dying? And why is it not dead yet if people started predicting Fortnite's death back in 2019? Well, we could spend hours talking about the multi-year creation of Fortnite and how Epic almost killed the game before it was even released. But what I'm more interested in is why Fortnite should have died multiple times after its launch. When Fortnite was launched, the game was released as a horror survival game, not a battle royale. And the objective of Fortnite Save the World was to build forts at night that you would defend against zombies. Thus the name Fortnite. The game got some traction at launch, but not as much as Epic Games wanted. And much of the player...
Also, I don't think he's going to touch on this. They spent years working on this. I think the first Fortnite revealed trailer came out in like 2011. And then the game didn't launch until 2017. So they spent 6 years, maybe more, you know, a little bit before they revealed it initially. They spent years working on a game that just like ultimately was like a flop or like not that big of a deal at launch.
People just weren't interested in zombie survival games anymore. Epic had taken...
Because like that genre, I feel like was kind of made popular by like Call of Duty Zombies and like Halo Forge and even Gears of War Horde mode, which Epic made themselves. But it took them so long to get it out that that trend just wasn't even a thing anymore. And luckily they did the opposite with BR. Like they were so late to the zombie survival trend, you know? It'd be like if they just released BR for Fortnite like today. Like you're a couple of years late on that one, you know?
To release their game, missing the years when zombies were at their height. Death was imminent, and Fortnite began its gradual decline. But Epic, seeing the nails in the coffin, started strategizing on how to save their new survival game. Epic had spent too many years developing Fortnite to just let it fizzle out. So teams at Epic went to work trying to find a solution for their dying game. During their research to save Fortnite, Epic saw this other game that was booming in the industry called PUBG. PUBG was exploding in popularity. Everyone was playing this new game. 100-player
similar to how Fortnite, I don't know, people might not have been around back then or might not have been paying attention to games online back then, but similar to how Fortnite kind of was in 2018, not as much in mainstream media, but within like gaming communities, PUBG was a huge deal in like early 2017, summer 2017. I actually started playing Fortnite BR because I was excited for PUBG to come to Xbox, and then like the PUBG Xbox port was terrible.
It was like Hunger Games meets the modern military.
But like,
how cool
this was like not the first BR, but it was like one of the first like mainstream ones.
Added a battle royale.
There's a whole new genre,
hoping to drive people to buy their survival game. It worked. Well, kind of. Millions of players did flock to Fortnite, but not to purchase the survival game, but to play the free battle royale. And only after 1 week, it already had 10 million players. Epic hit gold, so they switched their focus from Fortnite Save the World to Fortnite Battle Royale. Epic completely shifted the genre of their game and was able to avoid death number 1.
I also think it was a very small team of people that made it like within a month. if I remember correctly. I saw another video that talked about this, but it was like very much like kind of an afterthought, and then it turned up.
Fortnite Battle Royale is eerily similar to PUBG. With the release of Fortnite's Battle Royale and its similarities to PUBG, many of the players who flocked to Fortnite were from the PUBG community. PUBG, of course, saw this and thought, hey, we're losing players to a game that looks pretty similar to ours.
But a lot of the big streamers back then were
PUBG
like PUBG
called up their
streamers
legal team and sued Epic for copyright infringement. Now,
I don't think it's that simple, though. I don't know the law. But so, like, Epic makes the Unreal Engine, and then a lot of games use the Unreal Engine to make their games. And then my understanding is that PUBG also uses the Unreal Engine, and they weren't suing Epic for copying the concept of Battle Royale. They were suing Epic for using enhancements that PUBG had made to the Unreal Engine for their BR to go ahead and make their own BR, if that makes any sense.
It's 2018, Fortnite continues to rise.
So, like, it's a little more, like, that makes a lot more sense than, like, oh, they copied our idea, you know?
In popularity.
But everyone just perceived it as, like, oh, PUBG is suing Fortnite for making a Battle Royale.
As Epic and PUBG
and then they kind of hated on PUBG.
This was going to be the battle of the year, with the two biggest games fighting to survive. Videos were being made, articles were coming out, everyone was excited to see these two game companies duke it out in court. Then out of nowhere, PUBG just dropped the lawsuit. No settlement made, no court battle, PUBG just walked away. What happened? Why back out at the 11th hour? I mean, PUBG creators took some bad PR for instigating this lawsuit, and then just walk away from the lawsuit with nothing to show for it. The answer? Tencent. For those that don't know the name Tencent, basically imagine a company who owns everything in the gaming industry.
Yeah, it's like a huge Chinese company that owns a lot of games. They own Epic, they own Riot. So Fortnite, Valorant, League of Legends, all owned by kind of the same
buys
company.
Everything up from the shadows. That's Tencent. And just to give you some context, Tencent owns part of all of these game studios.
Also, one thing I've seen that's interesting is like...
Included in that list, of course, is Epic Games.
The Microsoft Activision deal, people think might not go through because of like antitrust laws or whatever, or monopoly stuff. But if that doesn't go through, there's people that think Tencent is just going to buy Activision and then even be more of a monopoly than Microsoft would be with it, because like it's a Chinese company, so they're not governed by the same laws or whatever.
Creator of PUBG, with Tencent owning 40% of Epic and about 14% of Bluehole. So as Epic and PUBG prepared for court, I imagine that Tencent swooped in behind the scenes, meeting with executives and stopping the lawsuit. I mean, both games were bringing in millions, if not billions of dollars. Tencent wasn't going to lose money over a feud between two of their companies. So this time, Epic skated away
and we're getting the Family Guy skin
riding
soon,
high
probably.
on the rise of Fortnite and avoiding death number 2. As we fly through 2018, Fortnite continues to rise in popularity, overtaking League of Legends as the most
popular. I've seen this video before, like a while ago, and I think I disagree with what he's about to say.
Competitive game. Fortnite looked like a juggernaut that couldn't be stopped. And what's even more incredible was that everyone seemed to know what Fortnite was. Even people who had never played a game or picked up a controller in their life. As Fortnite's popularity rose, players of all ages flocked to the game.
Bugha's family.
Moms around the
world
were now spending money to buy something called a V-Buck, so that their kids could buy skins.
This child is
V-Bucks,
continuously coming
which I'm
going to
be doing giveaways of
for money
for the new season.
to buy virtual products in your game.
Well, thanks to those skins...
Wait, what? Why is this lady complaining that her kid's asking her for money?
This child is continuously coming to ask me for money to buy virtual products in your game.
Well,
why is that bad? Bro, the stories I always see are parents that's like, yeah, my kid stole my credit card and then bought a ridiculous amount of V-Bucks, and now I can't do anything about it. Like, homie,
to those skins, Epic was pulling in money hand over fist, with most of the revenue being driven by teenagers' FOMO, or fear of missing out, on the current Fortnite trends. Epic loved it, of course, so they constantly added new content and purchasables to the game. So much content that even Call of Duty players were made jealous.
Kids are always going to ask their parents for money regardless? Yeah, like they have no income. That's how they get things they want.
Almost monthly releases. That said, most competitive Fortnite players didn't really care about all the new cosmetics, purchasables, and changes to the game. Epic was still focused on developing a high-level competitive Fortnite. So all the changes and additions being made were only amplifying competitive players.
See, I completely disagree with this. He's saying that like they focused a lot on comp, and then a lot of the changes were made for comp, but like I'm not a professional player, but for the most part, competitive Fortnite has kind of always seemed like an afterthought. Like, they kind of throw money at it, but the game is never really in a state that's that great for competitive. Like, there's always some cheesy nonsense. I think the day the Infinity Blade came out was also the day of like some huge LAN that they use that LAN to advertise the Infinity Blade essentially.
Abilities to keep getting victory royales.
And like, sure, they throw a lot of money at it, but like that's how they manage the comp scene. Like, they just throw money at it and then people deal with it because of the money.
Well, at least until season 5.
And then also, I think he's going to talk about the spray
first
meta here.
Real sign of a competitive decline was when Epic buffed the submachine gun.
So in season 5, they buffed the They were buffing the SMGs a lot over the course of season 4, and they were nerfing the shotguns over the course of season 4 to combat double pump. And then in season 5, they completely removed double pump. So like the SMGs were balanced to compete against double pump, and then the shotguns were balanced to be used 2 at a time, but you can no longer do 2 at a time. And it took them a while to fix that. However, he's talking about the comp scene, and I don't think the comp scene was really a thing. Like, there was like the summer skirmish, which maybe happened in season 5, and then like the fall skirmish after that. But like the comp scene we have today with like the cash cups and the FNCS and all of that stuff was not a thing yet.
And nerfed the double pump. Do you remember?
So I think maybe when he's talking about comp here, he's talking about like serious players, like not necessarily tournaments, but like what I would be, you know, like serious try-hard oriented players that want a like good gameplay experience.
The double pump separated the boys from the men. Well, with season 5, Epic finally realized they didn't want double pump or a high skill ceiling. What they wanted was to keep making money off people's FOMO, and Epic needed
definitely
social
did see, like, in
gamers
season
playing
5 they were
Fortnite to
griefing the skill
capitalize. But how do you keep people playing a game? Well, you pump them with dopamine and make them addicted by helping them win more victory royales. But how can less skilled players win more victory?
Like the launch P90 was the most insane thing ever.
Royales.
One of them.
Well, you need to even the playing field. Fortnite's competitive scene was widening the gap between the top players.
Like I said, comp wasn't really a thing at this point. Like the summer skirmish, I think, was late season 5. And like it was mainly a show tournament. Like there was like tournament games of it, but there was also unique like things where like streamers would have to compete to see like which group could get the most kills in a pub lobby in that day or something. Like there's a bunch of weird like quirky challenges along with the tournaments
and new
and
players.
the skirmish.
It was too difficult to get a victory
very different
royale
format.
when your competition was building a tower 100 feet tall at the same
Whereas
time.
like this footage is World Cup, and that's late
Epic
season 9.
needed to keep the casual people playing Fortnite. Thus the buff to the submachine guns and the addition of the P90.
The dumbest meta ever, dude.
However, after wide community outrage,
But like I said, I think he's just talking about like
specifically
comp
the
players
P90
as serious
were
pub
nerfed,
players.
but their initial buff in season 5 showed the path that Epic would continue down.
People always tell me I look like Deller, bro.
Next year, Zombies in season 6, Infinity Blade in season 7, Ballers in season
Zombies again in season 7, by the way.
season
They
8,
have no zombies. I don't
and don't
know why.
forget about mechs in season X. The community
The mechs are the most insane example of that because I think they did like an AMA on Reddit around that time, and they said that like they added the mechs so new players could get their first win. So it's like always been a thing that people assumed they did this stuff to like kind of cater to noobs, but that was like the first time they acknowledged it.
had a heyday
And
when these were added.
people went crazy
Each
about it.
season seemed to add more stuff.
This is
that
my favorite
changed the
vehicle ever in Fortnite, by the way.
when these were added. Each season seemed to add
The golf cart, this thing was perfect. Like you could use it to get around the map faster. If you tried to use it to run from somebody, like it wasn't going to work if that person's aim was like decent at all. Like you were so exposed and it wasn't that
more
fast.
stuff that changed the competitive Fortnite formula, and not for the better.
I
It
forgot
felt like
about that
Fortnite
bug.
was dying with Season X, and that the game was on its last leg.
Season X was terrible. My conspiracy theory is they intentionally made it bad so that people would be more willing to accept Chapter 2 Season 1 and like the new map. Like so the map changes we had in Season X were these rift zones, which kind of brought back old POIs, which was dope. A lot of people miss those POIs, but they brought back each one with a gimmick. Like Paradise Palms became Moisty Palms, and anytime you crouched in that POI, you turned into a prop. So you just couldn't crouch. You just turned into a prop. Greasy Grove had Taco Time, where periodically, basically everybody in the POI would get boogie bombed at the same time, and then you guys couldn't fight anymore. And then you would also regenerate health while you were dancing. So you could have someone super one-shot, Taco Time would happen.
Even Epic.
And
So
then they're
Epic
back
made
to
a
full
plan
HP.
to avoid death number 3. When Season X was over, Epic
Like I said, I think they made Season X intentionally bad so that like chapter 2 map would just be like a breath of fresh air in a way,
Ended
you know?
it in style.
And it
but
did
something
work.
was different. The new season didn't start like previous seasons, and the black hole didn't go away. Epic had gone dark on social media.
Same thing with this. Like,
and
this
wasn't
drew so
responding
many
to
eyes
any
to the
questions
game.
about season 11 or the black hole. People,
My parents asked me about that, bro. Like, they don't know what I do, bro. They just know I stream. They're like, have you heard of this Fortnite game? They have, like, a black hole that never ends. And it's like, yeah, I just spent, like, 6 hours. I didn't spend that long, but I spent a long time talking about it on stream because I had decent viewership after the event. And it was the first time something like this had happened where we just went into extended downtime. So we had no idea when the game would be playable again.
were losing their minds over this, and the world was clamoring for answers.
So I talked about that I just, like, streamed that screen talking about nonsense
Finally,
for, like, 2 hours.
2 days later, after the end of season
Because I
X,
didn't want to end my stream
season
and then have the
11
game
was
just be
released.
playable right
But
away.
This
you know?
time, it wasn't a new season. It was a new chapter, specifically Chapter 2, Season 1.
I think this would have been the best season ever. This was the first image that leaked for it. I think this leaked because of Xbox. And just, like, look at this, dude. This was the first time we ever had a new map in the game. And imagine this is the first, like, image you get of the map. Like, this is actually so dope to see. And this was leaked for a few hours before we could actually play, I think. So, like, the speculation and kind of just, like, over-analyzation of this was crazy. And I think this would have been the best seasons ever if it ended on time. But it ended up being, like, a season that kept getting delays and delays and delays. And there wasn't really any updates this season. All of the content we got at the start. I think they added launch pads back to the game at one point. They added the harpoon to the game. And then there was Star Wars stuff. And the season went from, like, I think late September or early October 2019 to February 2020. It was a really long season.
It's happening, chat. It's happening. Oh my god, I've waited literally 2 days for this moment.
This chapter updated Fortnite, making the graphics better,
great.
building faster, and the map was completely different. Everything
just
but
got
the
stale.
name screamed sequel. Fortnite could title it Fortnite Chapter 2 all they wanted, but
I'm
really,
actually pretty nostalgic about this season too. Like, I feel like I did not appreciate
we
that
were
season
looking at
for
a
what it's worth.
brand new game. The Fortnite 2
for how good it
marked a
was.
new era of Fortnite, the social era. This chapter featured Marvel characters, Star Wars, Halo, God of
quit
War,
playing by this
Tron,
time.
Alien, Batman, Rocket League. They even feature one of my favorite
So, like, I quit playing Chapter 2 Season 3 because of the delays of Chapter 2 Season 1. And Chapter 2 Season 2 also got an insane amount of delays. Both those seasons were over 120 days long. And so when Chapter 2 Season 3 came out and wasn't what I immediately wanted, I was like, I'm not playing this. Like, I don't want to play 120 days of this, you know? It turned out to be a short season, and, like, things got back on
fantasy
track.
characters. Kelsey are from Mistborn.
But, like,
Shout out
obviously
to
you
my
couldn't know
Cosmic
that.
fans out there. But seriously, the collaborations were insane. I mean, Travis Scott put on a concert.
And there's, like, the collabs, everyone kind of hates on them, but I think it helps. Like, when you're Fortnite at this point, how do you get new people into Fortnite who aren't already interested in Fortnite? Like, it's very hard to think about. Like, everyone's heard of Fortnite at this point that plays video games, right? And their decision on it is made up. But if you can get people that are Dragon Ball fans to play the game, or My Hero Academia fans to get into the game, like, you've tapped a whole new audience, you know, or Marvel or Travis Scott fans that just get on to see the concert. Even Zero Build did that incredibly well. Like, it got people who
Fortnite
weren't
with
interested in the game to play the game, you know?
Millions in attendance. A concert in a video game. I know this is old news, and that Marshmello already did a concert.
Like, people hate on the collabs, but I think it's great. As long as there isn't too broken of items, I don't really mind. And then even the shop, people complain when there's Marvel stuff on the in the shop for, like, weeks on end, but it's not, like, taking the place of anything else. Because I usually have, like, the daily shop that resets, and then the Marvel shop is under that, and it just is its own thing. But the daily shop still resets when they have,
Fortnite
like, the
before
shop.
Travis, but somehow
set up for
the
a collab.
Travis Scott concert just really surprised people. Why was a prominent music artist doing a concert in a video game, especially a competitive one? I mean, League of Legends has been a huge game for years. Why haven't they done something like this in their game? Why aren't
I think they do for Worlds. I think World Finals, they usually have, like, the World song, and then, like, that band, like, performs at the World Final, like, LAN.
you watching some Red Hot Chili Peppers or Imagine Dragons while jungling as Superman? Because of reason number 4, Fortnite is now a social game. It may sound crazy to say that Fortnite is a social game and not a competitive game, especially if you watch the current player base. It's dizzying to see how fast they can build. But just like my video on why Nintendo hates people playing competitive Smash, Epic and Nintendo are focused on the same thing.
I think Fortnite is a game that tries to cater to as many groups of people as possible. And so, like, yeah, that's social players, that's comp players, that's, like, pub players like I am, who are more serious about, like, pubs. people that just want to get on and play with their friends, people doing creative death runs. Like, I feel like they just try to cater to everyone as much as possible so that when they do a collab, like, if somebody's super into, like, Ant-Man or whatever, like, that fan has something for them in Fortnite. And that is great to think about. Like, sure, everyone should enjoy the game, but a lot of these things are like a zero-sum game. Like, if you cater to, like, the super casual players, it usually hurts the competitive players in some way. So, like, it's nice to cater to as many groups of people as possible, but I feel like what you end up with is, like, a game that's for nobody, you know? Like, Apex, for example, is another BR. I feel like you either love Apex or you hate Apex. Like, they have their target, like, demographic of players, and they make the best game that they can make for that demographic, whereas Fortnite kind of has no demographic, and it's just trying to please as many people as possible.
For a casual
and that's a really hard
audience.
task.
That doesn't mean Fortnite can't and isn't competitive, just like Super Smash Bros. The focus of Fortnite, however, isn't on competitive play. Epic Games is...
I don't think it ever should be. I don't know. I don't think BRs are good competitive games as is, and even then, if you don't have, like, a large audience, there's not going to be a comp scene. Like, you need a large audience, and then some of those people
They
funnel
could see
into the
the
comp
Google
scene.
trends just like us. They knew that Fortnite was dying down in popularity. Epic had made too many changes in Chapter 1 trying to bridge the gap between the competitive and social players. And the problem with Fortnite making such drastic changes, Fortnite at first was viewed as a competitive game and not a social game. I mean, all the top competitive streamers were knee-deep.
This is why I mean, I don't. Maybe the gameplay doesn't matter, but he's like talks about competitive
not
streamers.
A social game. I mean, all the top
and then he shows Doc and Ninja, neither of which are like comp players
in 2018.
That's
However,
why I think he just means like
having
serious
your revenue
players when he
stream
says comp.
depend on the hype of competitive players is dangerous. Most top FPS players and streamers will play a game for a while, but they'll jump ship the moment something better comes along.
Like, it'll be good for like a week, but then it's just gonna go. It's gonna slip right into that traditional sandbox
what's
view.
everyone's viewership today with this? I'm just curious.
I've got
Was that Halo?
120,000.
But as Epic put their plan in motion of moving from a competitive to a social game, there was a problem. The transition had the inverse effect on the game's population.
I think like League of Legends is the example of a comp game, but I think League of Legends is also a very social game. Like, I know a lot of people who are not serious about games that play League.
We see the negative impact of this switch in the revenue. Fortnite went from making $5.4 billion in 2018 to $3.7 billion in 2019.
Like I was saying at the start of the video, like when your peak is so ridiculous, like you cannot maintain it, you know? Like Fortnite being dead, quote unquote, and making 3.7 billion in a year is more than some games will make in like their entire existence. More than most games will make in their entire existence. It's just the standard of 2018 Fortnite is like not
that is a huge
comparable or
loss
sustainable.
And Epic needed to do something drastic if Fortnite was going to survive. They needed a complete rebrand. Which brings us back to the black hole. This event was a gamble. You don't shut your game down for 2 days and go radio silent if your game is performing well.
I think that was
Epic
incredibly
using
well
this
done.
opportunity to get the world's attention and let everyone know.
I think the game was still performing well then. I feel like most of the problems in Season X were like self-inflicted. Like the mech, the rift zones. People like to like kind of look back on this and act like they didn't want a new map, but like late into Chapter 1, like Season 8, Season 9, Season X, people did want a new map. And then once we got a new map, people were like, oh, go back to the old one. That's just how it goes. But people did want a new map. And that was one of the things that other players would kind of roast Fortnite for, because Apex had multiple maps, PUBG had multiple maps, and then Fortnite is still just stuck on the same boring one.
Type of game Fortnite had become, and in so doing, pushed off death number 3. If you were to use Google Trends as your source of truth,
Google Trends can be a good indicator, but it struggles from the same thing I was just kind of talking about before, where like in this early period here, where it's like doing really well, people didn't know what Fortnite was, so they're going to be more inclined to look Fortnite up, you know? Whereas 2020, the game had been out for 3 years. 2023, the game has been out for 5 years. People know what Fortnite is at this point, you know?
you would see that Fortnite did take a hard dip when they switched to a social audience, and that the game still hasn't been nearly as popular since
like
2018.
I feel like there's
What's
only
interesting though
the only
is that when Epic
like look at this trend. So I'll turn off my webcam. This is like the rise of the game over here, 2018, and then it starts going down. And then this is the black hole right here. The highest peak in Fortnite Google Trends is when there was literally 0 players on the game because everyone was looking up like, why can't I play Fortnite, or what's going on with the black hole, you know? So like Google Trends can be like a general gauge of interest, but I feel like in a lot of cases, like Fortnite, this level of like 2018 hype could not be maintained. This level of black hole hype could not be maintained. So much of like this was just because of the game like being brand new and exciting and like kind of a new genre for a lot of players.
Rebranded in 2020, we see the game on Google Trends even out,
and that is like the perspective people look at it. Unless it's like the most popular game ever and breaking new ground, and also the most popular game on Twitch and the most popular game on YouTube, then like people view it as dead. But it's just like
generated from Fortnite.
It's not binary like that, you know? It's not one or the other.
What is even more incredible is that in 2021, the revenue of Fortnite surpassed the revenue of 2018.
So that's actually insane. So he's saying in 2021, despite the game being less popular, it made more than it did in 2018. And I think a large part of that is just because of the collabs.
The year that Fortnite was on top of the world. With 2018...
And that's also without mobile. Mobile was gone by this point, so they weren't on iOS. They did lower the price of V-Bucks. Maybe that had an impact on how much they were raking in. They also had Fortnite Crew by this point. But I think a large part of that is because of the collabs.
2021 bringing in 5.
People hate on the collabs, but every time a new collab happens, like you see that skin everywhere, you know? When Dragon Ball happened, half the lobby was Goku. I think their most liked tweet ever was the Dragon Ball announcement.
$0.8 billion. Now, I'm not saying that the revenue of Fortnite will continue trending upwards year after year. I'd be amazed if they do. However, what I am saying is that Fortnite isn't dying anytime soon. Epic Games has been
This might be coming back next season, by the way.
Very intelligent with how they have positioned Fortnite, by changing the genre of the game, to avoiding legal battles, to changing their target player base. Fortnite is making Epic Games more money than ever, and with Fortnite Chapter 4 just releasing, I don't doubt
and Creative 2.0
that we will see
that'll be another huge influx of players. I don't know as much about Creative 2.0, but I think that'll be the next thing that brings a lot of people in or keeps people playing the game. But just on Fortnite, quote unquote, being a dead game, I think most of that idea is spread by people that they and their friend group don't play the game anymore. Therefore, it seems less relevant to them. Therefore, the game is dead. Or I think a lot of it is also little kids who were playing Fortnite when they were like 8 years old. 5 years from that now they're 2013, or now they're 13 years old. Sorry. And they don't want to be associated with the thing they liked when they were a little kid. I feel like Minecraft kind of went through a similar thing where it was like it blew up and it was a game that a lot of little kids loved. And then as they grew up, they kind of went away from it because they viewed it as like a kid game because that's what they played when they were kids. And then they kind of went back to it when they were like late teen, early 20s. I feel like a lot of things just kind of go through that period. SpongeBob was like that for my generation, you know, like a lot of us watched it, but in like late middle school, early high school, you wouldn't acknowledge that you would watch SpongeBob ever. And then now I can make like a SpongeBob reference joke with some of my friends or people around my age. And despite us being like mid-20s, they would get that and it would laugh, even though like they would have acted like they didn't know. I think you get what I'm saying. Like when people like something as a kid, I feel like they just naturally don't want to be associated with it as a teen. So because they personally don't like it, they just assume it's dead. But Fortnite is a very popular game still. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. Like, it would be ridiculous. Like, the game would need to decrease in popularity like 90% from what it is now for it to not be financially sustainable for Epic to keep updating it, I feel like. Like, it's reached a point where it's not going anywhere. It's like kind of like how COD has the same thing. Like, COD can release a bad game for a few years or whatever. Like, they could have a running game of like 5 straight bad CODs, but you know when the next one comes out, people are going to buy it. And I think the same thing is true with Fortnite seasons. When a new season comes out, there will always be people that like come back to the game and try it. But that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you think of like kind of the whole Fortnite dying controversy. I thought this video was very well done. The only thing I would really change is like, or question is like the idea of them talking about the comp scene. I think they were mainly just referring to like serious players at that point, because they were talking about the comp scene in time periods where the comp scene wasn't even a thing yet. But that is it. Give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.